to African Teapot Podcast. My name is Exie and I'm your host. Journey with me through Africa's vast variety of culture, heritage, and discuss issues most African families face, both home and abroad. Make sure you add this podcast to your frequent podcast rotations and don't forget to share and follow this podcast. Hi guys, and thank you for being here for another episode on African Teapot. And today's episode is titled Papa She Can. And before I get into anything, Winnie is with us again this week.
Hello, listeners. Hi, I'm back.
Yeah.
I hope everyone is doing okay.
Hope everyone is fine. Everybody is, in one piece with everything and the politics out here.
Oh my God, don't even start.
We're waiting for our results, for our president or what, I don't know, American president or however we'll put it. But anyways, like I said, the topic or title today is Papa She Can. And Winnie, you would give us the proverb.
Yes, the proverb for this week is educate a boy, you educate an individual. You educate a girl, you educate a whole nation.
True talk. And I think most Africans we've heard this because I've heard this proverb before.
Yes, me too.
I've heard this before. And for those of you who probably did not listen to the last episode, this is like a part 2, like a continuation of last episode, because we were reading a letter by Rita and we had to split the letter in 2 so as to properly discuss it and to properly give our take on the letter, because that's what she wanted and we didn't want to rush the letter. So if you're this is going to be like a continuation for the read. So if you didn't listen to the last one, you may get a little bit confused, right? So,
yes. So listen to the first one, then you kind of get what's...
Winnie and I were a little bit crazy for the one last week. But I'm just going to go ahead and we get into the story, the rest of the letter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is the second part to Rita's letter. What makes this so hard to forget is my dad never believed in educating my sister and I after secondary school. He felt learning a trade or being a secretary or receptionist in an office was ideal for us. He always said a woman who knows or even earns more than her husband will not respect her matrimonial home. This further brought tension between he and my mom because she had to solely take up the responsibility of my sister and I financially in terms of wanting to help us get our educational dreams. She worked day and night at a local restaurant she owned and had to borrow and take loans from the local cooperative unions just to ensure that my sister and I had a proper education. The only support my mom got was from my older brothers, and they had to keep it away from my dad so as to avoid any further problems. He refused to sponsor my traveling out of the country, and I remember him specifically telling me that he doesn't have that type of money to waste. Now he calls me asking for money to do things that benefit him and not the family as a whole. He has gone as far as telling my uncles to call me if they need help and brings up my mom in all our arguments. He says I am as selfish as my mother and my money is for the family because I am a woman. Please, my story is not to complain, but to ask if I am alone in this experience and if I am crazy for wanting to fix the relationship in my family. My brothers and I have decided to talk to him, but my mom keeps holding us back. What is your take? Because this is affecting my younger sister and I would really want someone to tell me that my dad is worth fighting for. And she ends up the letter by saying, this is from Rita all the way from Zimbabwe. Okay, Winnie, go. With the eye rolling, can you put that in words? Because Rita, if you're listening, I think if Winnie's eyes could kill, your dad was fighting for his life.
Right. Honestly.
Or men in general who think like this, because we obviously not all men think like this.
Yeah, this
Because
is
her
like,
brothers don't share in what. That's the good part about the story, that her brothers don't share in that notion or belief that her dad does.
yeah, the dad still has some antiquated thinking. I'm like, dude, you're in the 21st century. Like, honestly. And then it's like, you don't help her during her school, you don't help her siblings. Then now you want her to give you money. The mom struggled to take the children to school while you were just there sitting there doing
Especially
nothing.
the girls, because
And
there
then
were
now-
2 girls and 4 boys.
Yes.
And she made sure she said her and her younger sister was solely by her mother. I know. Silence is what says it.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
It's just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And the people in this like this whole narrative that look, this is what we always say: when you can't take care of your family, outsiders come in and rip.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what the uncles are doing in here, calling her first, blackmailing her emotionally, and then asking for financial support. Where, like in the whole story, it seems the uncles are just there to reap.
My question is, these uncles, don't they have mothers or something?
And don't the uncles have their own kids?
On their own kids too?
Why do you want someone else's kid to help you financially?
You see, that's what I'm saying.
That's because
that's
the immediate family is not functioning properly.
No.
And these are the symptoms of selfishness. Selfishness has no bounds. It doesn't respect boundaries. A selfish person is a selfish person. And once you let a selfish person go on and on with no accountability, there becomes that sense of entitlement.
Yeah, that's what I said last time, that I think African women especially, I know people sometimes confuse respect and fear. Sometimes you need to differentiate the two. You know, I know you can respect somebody, but sometimes you also need to speak up. You see, the dad has had a long free ride and wanting to reap what he has not sown.
A dictatorship. Mm-hmm.
That's what I said last time too. Yeah. Like, it's a two-way street. You want something, okay, you help me. At least now help the mom pay the loans, at least.
You know, I asked her that question, and I asked her, okay, maybe your dad, did he help pay the loans that your mom took? Maybe that's why he's feeling. She said no, it was her big brother and the mom that finished the loan. So I'm like, so how did he start talking to you when he said he doesn't even want you to leave the country? How did he speak to you to the point where he's asking for money? And you heard what she said. He calls her and her mom selfish because he believes that the mother is brainwashing them.
Right. Because they're not doing what you want.
But at the same time, in what you're saying, the mother is telling them, well, don't confront dad. Don't confront papa.
Yeah, you see, that's the problem right there too. Like, if you have a wound on your toe and I'm stepping on it and you don't speak out and tell me, hey, you're hurting me. You know,
that person will keep stepping on
it. Yes. And then
that person may even be oblivious.
Bleeding. Exactly. So unless she says something, I understand that. Yes, I know they always say respect. You know, I don't want to go the Bible way now, but it's like, yes, I know women should respect your husband. He's the head of the house and all that stuff. But sometimes I'm like, you have to speak up, especially when it is for the betterment of the children.
And how is respect coming in when you are saying the man is the head of the house, but this man is biased towards his kids? He wants the male children to be empowered and not the females.
The females.
So is that proper being head of the family? Head of the family, you ought to love and provide for all your children regardless. But when you're selecting the male children or something, the boy child, and saying the boy child should go to school, so that means
what's the woman's job? Just to get pregnant and bear children?
And be a secretary or receptionist, like she said. And you understand, that means you have to be under the man. Yes, he did not see his female children having any big roles or jobs or anything. He's okay with them working, because she said her mom owns like a little restaurant. In African sense, we understand what she's saying. So it means in doing little things, he's okay with a woman earning a living for herself, but not in the scale of maybe you can earn more than the man you want to marry in future. You see, so everything boils down to a woman being married. Everything. Do you see how it is? Everything boils to exactly. You can't succeed unless you are under a man. If you go to school, you should go to be a receptionist or a secretary under a dude, under a guy. If you want to earn more, oh, you better earn more, but don't earn more than your husband. And then you lose respect. So when is the husband supposed to give respect?
I think he takes being submissive to a whole nother level. Because, honey, this damn age, I don't know who's doing that.
Just to refocus, guys. What is wrong with Rita having an education?
Right.
Especially if she's capable of it.
Okay, God forbid, let's say one of the daughters has a spouse, right? And the spouse dies. And then Rita doesn't have a job, or one of the siblings doesn't have a job. So where is Rita going? To him?
To him when he didn't believe in her. And this is one thing. When you don't believe that your child can achieve certain things, how do you expect these children to achieve it themselves?
Right.
When you keep letting them understand that they are not capable. You are not capable of furthering your education because you are female. You are not capable of earning money because you are a female. You are not allowed to ask your dad, what do you need my money for? Because you are a woman. You heard in the letter that her dad said, your money is for the family because you are a woman. I'm trying to understand this. Where is this woman thing coming from, where we have to give what we have to the men? You have women doing this. They take their paychecks and they give men.
The whole salary give to the husband.
Exactly.
They come and say, my husband, here it is. Bow down. Kneel
and I'm
down,
like, shouldn't you be apologizing? You thought your child could not have higher education, was not capable of handling higher education. Now she has. You haven't even apologized for it. You've never told her that, oh my gosh, I'm thought sorry. Wrong. Yeah, I thought wrong. Maybe this is what I had known in the past. I thought wrong, and here you are capable. You haven't said that. Instead, what you've said is, give me your money so that I use, so that your uncles use, because you are a woman. So that means we are not capable of being successful. And then even when we are successful, we should take that success and give it to men. What I said
last week is like, he has put a woman's place is in the kitchen, doing house chores, like all these little jobs. So a woman cannot be, anything higher
past a certain level.
You can be a doctor, you can
be a lawyer or anything like
or whatever. So it's pretty much, because to me, honestly, the way I'm looking at it, I feel like the dad has some inner issues.
Oh, like, yes, it is.
Because I don't see how you don't take me to school, you don't support me on anything, and then now you and your uncles here are trying to blackmail me, threaten me, then you want my whole salary.
And you want me to marry a man and shut up, just like my mom does.
So it's like if somebody's going through domestic abuse or something, they're not gonna say anything like,
"Oh no, this is emotional abuse right here from her own parents right here."
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is how children sometimes have PTSD and stuff, and you're like, oh God. I know we Africans, we don't believe in all these things sometimes. I'm not saying we don't, but
we don't take it as serious.
We don't take it as serious, exactly. Right. Because I'm like, look at what it has done to Rita until now.
And her sister. And she says, because she keeps talking of her sister because the others are boys, which I guess the dad is okay with the boys being successful. You see, and when the boys are supporting her mom or supporting both her and the sister, they have to keep it away from the dad. She said that in a letter, that her big brothers supported the mother, but they had to keep it away from the father so as to avoid problems in the family. This is a tyrant. He is.
Yeah, that's just, yeah.
Anyways, we have a bunch of questions and comments, and I think we should get into it just so that we can see what other people have to say, or try to answer some questions that people had. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, getting into the comments as we put this on social media. We're going to read, say, 3. Right? Let's just read 3 comments. Mm-hmm. So Paulette says, most men are intimidated by educated women. Charlotte Dream says, it's ironic because some of the best educators are women. That's so true. And Eric Brings says parents are scared of challenging traditions. What do you think?
All those statements are true, especially with our African culture. These are things that actually we still need to work on, honestly.
True, we do. And I like what Charlotte Dreams says. Like, a lot of teachers and educators back in Africa are women.
Mm-hmm.
You look at teachers, principals, and what they are mostly women.
And then also what Paulette said, most men are intimidated by educated women. I think that's still, I don't know why that's still a thing until now.
That's what's going on with Rita's papa.
Like,
in this sense.
There's nothing wrong with taking a woman, a girl child, to school. There's nothing wrong with educating a woman.
I mean, if anything, that only shows how progressive you are.
Yes.
That shows whoever comes to marry your daughter should understand that your daughter is a partner, not him being over your kid.
Yes.
I don't understand.
It almost sounds like it's like if you're married, like your husband, like let's say the men who are coming to marry into Rita's family, is like almost like, so the women are what, maids or what?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because somebody appreciates what you have, the way you take care of that thing, right? If I come to your house, the way you take care of your flip-flops or take care of your TV or whatever it is, it's the same way I'm going to respect or I'm going to treat that
how
thing.
you present it to me.
Yeah. So if you have children and you present that the men are above the female children you have, how are you expecting a man to come and take her and put her as an equal?
Respect your daughter.
Or respect your daughter. No, so it's going to be that same vicious cycle of intimidation in marriages that most of our African mothers face. It's going to be emotional abuse,
domestic, physical
all
abuse.
kinds of things come in there because we, the parents, have made our kids believe or feel it's okay.
It's okay. And that's what I say. It's time. We need to put a stop. Speak up, women.
I'm sorry, someone will say we are coming down on women, but sometimes the people who need to start change and impact change are we, the women.
Put your foot down.
Because we feel these things. Rita's mom is feeling it. Rita and her younger sister are feeling it. But you can see her mom stopping her from saying anything. But they are the ones feeling this pain.
She needs to put that shield down. You are not shielding these children anymore. They are grown. They are outspoken. They have their own minds. Let the kids be. I know you're thinking, you don't want to cause a conflict between you and your husband.
But there's already a conflict.
It's already, exactly.
It's already there.
So it's
like, the denial. That's the denial.
Yeah,
the mom is,
I think that's the best.
The mom is just going through that stage where she's still in denial about things. She wants to save her marriage. But that marriage stopped existing in a proper way from the time that your husband refuses to acknowledge that his own kids need an education. It's the right of every child to have an education.
Regardless of
the gender. Mm-hmm. If a child wants to go to school, you let them go to school, at least to high school level. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes particularly selfish if you have the finances to further their education past high school and you refuse to.
Right. At least take them to trade school.
I know. And then on top of it, when they struggle on their own or through some means to make it to school, you tell them their money belongs to you. Oops. Their money belongs to the family. What family? Because they are the family too.
I know somebody will say I'm harsh, but I'm like, that's just...
No, we need harshness sometimes. Sometimes, like, that is just... And when we mean harsh, doesn't mean violence, but sometimes you need to have conversations, embarrassing conversations with someone so that you wake them up from sleep. Because sometimes we put the blame on men and we want men to do better. But sometimes I think we need to empower the women to speak up. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes if somebody comes to you to grab something from you and you tell them no, that person is going to leave your thing alone.
Don't sit on a wound and let it get, terrible where it's now there's pus and everything coming out. Speak up as soon as you see that boil popping up.
Exactly.
Say
something.
Yeah.
If the mom had told him like, hey, I'm going to send these kids to school. Yes. I don't care about if you're saying my daughters can go to school. They probably would have had a huge fight, obviously.
Yes.
But they would have come to a compromise.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Your mom is more, she knows the things that mean a lot to your dad.
Yes.
So she knows what she's going to put on the table and your dad would have to reach a compromise. Or if you have someone who is too stubborn, like how Winnie said last time, let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you keep a chauvinist around your children just for them to bring down your kids?
Exactly.
It's not worth it.
I mean, I know she's looking for peace, but at this time, it's like sometimes you have to choose your battles. That's what I always say.
Yeah, but the mom did not give a chance for peace because they never confronted her dad.
Exactly.
You might be surprised.
No,
they may confront him and he changes. She was
avoiding conflict by hiding the stuff that she's educating the children. You see?
Oh, yeah.
With the older sons.
Of course.
You see? So I'm like, you're doing more damage than you.
It's just a mess. It's a mess, guys.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. And before Winnie and I get off track again, let me get into the questions, the main questions that were raised.
Sure.
Is what is wrong with educating a girl child, and why do most parents shy away from educating a girl child in Africa?
Our traditions and beliefs, and I think is what, like we say, charity begins at home. It's like what you're exposed to. So if you don't, if they never told you like, hey, education is important, you're not going to go to school. You're like, oh, you know what? No, that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But if it's instilled in you when you're still young, like, hey, it is go to school, because if, let's say something, God forbid, something happens, at least you guys can fend for yourself and for your future children.
Because I do believe it's changing. We still have a long way to go. But I think it is a little bit different compared to years ago, say 20 years ago, course, right? Yeah. We just have to do a little more, because I didn't know that you have current progressive dads who think like this. I didn't know this. Yes. And another thing too that I think there's this fear of educating girls or whatever. There's ignorance which ties to the culture. Mm-hmm. There's an ignorant culture sometimes. There's culture that is just birthed from complete, sorry to say, stupidity. And sometimes if you don't go to check why they put certain cultures, you will just keep going through life living this thing that doesn't make any sense. Illiteracy is part of it. People are not educated enough. Like Winnie said, there is not enough information there to counter what is already in place. If someone doesn't know anything different from the culture that they know, then they wouldn't want to challenge that culture. Right? So there should be some information that I hear and it provokes a thought in me, then I may want to change what I know.
Right.
Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. And then another question is, why are these traditions not being broken? And why are laws not being passed to ensure that these traditions are broken?
I think this ties back down to what we said last week. You have a pot and you're scared that if you keep adding things in this pot, what's going to happen? Break. It's going to break. And then guess what? When it breaks, all hell breaks loose. So you don't know, you can't. So it's like that.
I don't know what is going to happen if I change
fear
this
of
thing.
Unknown.
Yes.
You see. But then it's like, hey, it's like a child. A child has to crawl before they walk.
Exactly.
You see. So
they have to start from somewhere.
Exactly.
Sometimes you're going to think, oh, what I'm going to say is not going to matter. But it does. Maybe one person in there hears it and goes, maybe I should do more research on this. And sometimes doing things behind people's backs is not also helping. Like what Winnie said, sending these children to school and hiding from the dad over the years. Yes. He might also be feeling a little bit spited. Like he feels like maybe, you understand, everything. You guys were against me. Ego. Right. And things like that. But sometimes it's good to challenge these people head front. Hey, we are going to send our younger sisters to school. Hey, mom, we are going to send our sisters to school. If you don't want to support them, it's fine, but we're going to do it.
Yes, stand your ground.
Stand your ground, and then you start a step at a time. And probably he would have been progressively easing into.
Yeah, he would still be mad, but he
and probably you would have made a lot more progress than where he is today.
Yes,
that's something else. Sometimes too, Rome is not built in a day. You start gradually. Sometimes that's important. And then the last question is, why is Rita's mom stopping the kids from challenging the dad? Which is what we've already said. Fear. The culture where you can't speak harsh on your husband. Not wanting to ruin her marriage, which I feel like the marriage is already... the marriage is not fair anyways.
Trying to avoid conflict.
Exactly.
There's already conflict already.
Exactly. And things like that.
You doing things behind his back, that's already conflict right there. She doesn't know it.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Don't make a right, exactly.
It doesn't make a right.
No,
so
doesn't.
Please, this one, even though we say Papa, she can, in terms of Papa, meaning our fathers, we women are capable of doing certain things. We are capable of doing things just like our brothers. We are also saying, moms, women, please, please, please. Sitting quiet in a culture that hurts you every day makes no sense to me. You have to say something, do something.
And there's this saying that they say, what a man can do,
a woman
can do it better. We are not saying men are not better, but all we are saying is we can multitask. We can take care of the home and also take care of business.
Right.
You see.
And we need to put out our strong female heroes out there.
Yes. Bring enlightenment.
We need to share, which I think we should have an episode for that actually, where we have a lot of African women doing things in Africa. At the same time, they are managing their homes just fine and raising kids at the same time. We are capable of it. God created us for this. He created the man. Somebody would come to argue me every day or all day, but he created a man and something was missing, and he created us, and we are there to help these men because we are capable of handling more than one thing at a time.
Even the Bible says it. You give a woman something, she multiplies it.
Exactly. That's why we are she's. That's why we are females, because that's why when you educate a woman, like the proverb, you educate a nation, because an educated woman, think of the kids that she's going to raise.
Yes.
Both boys and girls.
It's a continuous
cycle and generation you've educated.
Can you imagine if your mom didn't take you to school?
Oh, my mom wasn't educated. I can't believe it. Because she educated us and all.
Because my mom,
that's what I'm saying. Paulette, I agree with what she said Charlotte Dreams about the best educators being
women.
Because my mom is an educator, right? And I'm thinking she raised us up, empowered us, and all the other children that she did, both boys and girls, that my mom, taught them through school, and today they are whoever they are. If my mom is capable of doing that, I'm just thinking if my dad was saying my mom shouldn't send us to school. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense.
No.
Because we women nurture everything.
Yes, we do.
Oh my God. Like this. Guys, we need to start making a lot of noise. And we need to let people know that we are more than just creating babies.
Yes.
Because I think that's one other ignorant way of looking at it. Like, well, do you need an education to be able to get pregnant? Do you need an education to be able to push out a kid? Right? So they don't believe in sending you to school because all you need to do is bring forth children. Right. I don't need to send you to school because God created you. You already have that in you. Why do I need to send you to school? That's some twisted way some of these are old uncles and fathers think. And when they say that being quiet and saying, well, don't challenge uncle is good. I mean, that's just a cowardice way of looking, of looking at it.
It's about time we speak up, especially with these elders in the village. They need to bring
those are the worst ones.
Yes.
Those are the worst ones.
Are the ones
and I'm suspecting these uncles in this story, that's what is going on there. That's what's going on there. And guys, we're going to put a period to it because Winnie and I can keep going, and usually it doesn't mean when we stop the conversation here on air means that we have stopped talking about it.
No,
we'll come to revisit it some way, somehow, in a different topic, but please, it's just to help Rita, and hopefully we have. She's been appreciative, like I said again, for the help the help we gave in putting her story out there, and she was thankful for everybody who contributed, through advice or otherwise. I forwarded your emails to her, and so she understands that she's not alone, and people go through these things. And Winnie, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
For 2 weeks.
Right.
Rolling your eyes and holding back. I can see you holding back some of the craziness. But guys, thank you so much for being there, and thank you so much for your support. And we'll see you next week for the next episode.
All right. Y'all have a safe weekend and stay safe.
Amen to that. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening, and hope you join me for the next episode. You can always reach us via email at africanteapot@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at african_teapot.